Three baby animals are about to be born in France. Each has an unusual destiny, one that is closely linked to that of their human owners. We follow them for a year, from birth to their first challenge in life. This is their story. Ever since he was a child, Jean-François has been around horses. This farmer's son moved to a village in Gard, near Camargue, to raise a herd. Right now, he's looking after his stallion and two pregnant mares. His horses are constantly together. Tiago, the breeding male, in equine jargon what's known as a full horse, was easily able to complete his task. The females, Gazelle, the white mare, and Isis, the chestnut pony, are expecting foals.
I use a natural system. I leave the stallion with the mares throughout the year. Obviously now they're pregnant, which is really important to me. It also means the stallion is mentally right. So this is Gazelle. She's now 3 years old and pregnant by Tiago. The foal is due pretty soon.
Isis has her own personality.
Isis was given to me because she was pretty difficult at first. As a rule, animals, particularly horses, are naturally dominated by humans. But from birth, she was given too much leeway and thought she was in charge. She's nice now. She understands. That's why I like foals to be born here. Then the proper groundwork can be done. All the sisters are here. They go from 7 months to 2 years, and all were born at home.
At 11 months, horses have a long gestation period. Gazelle and Isis will deliver soon.
This one answered right away. He's awake. It's funny. I felt a leg responding as soon as I touched it. Amazing. I've never had such a reaction. This one's reactive. There are moments when... there he's moving again. It's amazing to have a foal that responds like a human baby. You can really connect with them, even though they're not here. Anyway, I'd better not bother it too much. I think it's off for a nap. It's funny. Okay, Daddy-o, you've got 3 days to figure all this out.
The two foals about to be born will be joining a well-established troupe of 16 horses of all ages, trained by Jean-François for horse shows. His special feature is a gentle method inspired by his father, dressage, with complete freedom. No reins, no treats as a reward. Using only his eyes, Jean-François coordinates the movements of his horses.
Horses are funny the way they're so sensitive. He's so powerful. He can carry me on his back. He can gallop away, change feet, accelerate. But there's so much contrast between the power of its physique and the sensitivity of its psyche. I play on comfort and discomfort. I like it because as soon as I overdo things a little, especially with the young ones, they wonder what's going on. I also play on limitations in order to find energy and things like that. It's fun. Once I start, I can't stop. I always enjoy it immensely, and it creates a completely different atmosphere to what I'm used to in human company. I try to look into their eyes, gauge their feelings, things like that. I have the feeling I'm respecting their world. And I also enjoy moving to the rhythm of life, the rhythm of horses.
By silently entering their world, Jean-François manages to foster a rare degree of complicity with animals instinctively afraid of being preyed upon in the wild. Placing their trust, they allow themselves to be guided and comply with all the figures he suggests. Thus, training becomes more of a game than a duty, and every one of Jean-François' horses shows in a dance. For the first time in 30 years of performances, Jean-François wants to include two very young foals in his show, those of Gazelle and Isis. The next generation should be among us soon, but which of the two females will give birth first?
Fetch me the hay.
Okay.
Et je disons, je le mets sur le feu. Ouais, si tu veux.
Etienne and Natasha are shepherds. They've been running their farming operation for over 10 years. They now have 160 head of sheep. Etienne was born in Lyons, but a part of his family were originally from this region.
Should we let them out?
Yeah, let them out. Better do another one here, because once we let them out...
Natasha is a former veterinary assistant. She used to work near Paris. The pair of nature and animal lovers decided to throw in their lot and set up a farm in the center of Larzac.
Should we help them out?
We'd better help them. I have to check whether there's the head.
Beautiful, isn't it?
I like the relationship with animals at the time of birth. Sometimes it's as if the ewe is waiting for you, saying, "Come and help me, I can't manage." It's great to see a baby lamb. As a woman, the maternal instinct is strong.
It's always a beautiful sight. Is it a female or a male?
A female.
A beautiful female.
But Etienne and Natasha don't just rear sheep. They also train sheepdogs. Etienne has his own special way of herding his sheep.
12, left, D, izquierda, derecha, slowly, derecha, quieto, derecha, droite, couché, puis.
Like an orchestra conductor, he commands 6 dogs at once, speaking to each of them in a different language.
Lie down, droite.
One understands French, the other Spanish, the other English,
Left,
or even Catalan.
derecha, quieto.
One is given orders in meteorological terms, another only answers to mathematics.
34 000. 34. Je positionne les
I
chiens.
position the dogs around the flock of sheep.
Installe-toi.
Settle down.
L'idée, c'est
The
de
idea is
mettre
to get
chacun
each
à
of
leur
them into
poste.
position.
Lie down. Plus 12. Résultat. Izquierda. Quieto. Quieto.
Thus, Etienne manages to make his sheep dance to his tune. As the inventor of this mixed language method, he is regarded as one of France's leading sheepdog handlers.
L'une. J'envoie l'ordre.
I give a command, and the dog knows that it is for him alone.
Les autres gardent leur poste.
The others keep their position.
Et je gagne du temps et ça
I
me
save
permet de
time, and it means I can work 6 dogs no problem.
faire sans problème. Quieto. Right. Lie down. Travailler avec 2, 3, 4 chiens. C'est sympa.
It's nice to work with 2, 3, or 4 dogs, but sometimes you miss a bit of action. Not that I get bored, but it's kind of routine. But when I take more dogs, then something really happens. You have to be very watchful and give the commands at the right moment, which makes it a real thrill. You're working with a real team.
Racine, résultat.
I can reposition from a distance.
Bilbo G, installe-toi, derecha, derecha, quieto, right, right, slowly, lie down, lie down. Descends, descends, installe-toi. Tatouine avance, droite, avance, couché. 12, moins, résultat. Et on peut faire danser T'imagines.
And we can make T'imagine dance.
T'imagines.
T'imagine.
T'imagines danse.
T'imagine dance. 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 Dance.
Danse.
To reach such a level of control, Etienne's dogs are trained from a very early age. Ushuaia is a female border collie. She has already produced 5 generations of sheepdogs. Today, she is on the verge of delivering her 6th litter. But the birth is proving to be difficult.
She isn't dilated.
The waters are broken, so the puppy needs to be born, needs to breathe. So this is stressful. I want to see the puppy. What happens is water goes back into the lungs, then it's too late. So we have to be quick and get this puppy out. Here we can see the placenta. Now she'll cut the cord herself. We need to make sure she doesn't tug too hard. I'll put it down and let her get on with it. That's great, honey. That's the first one. We're really pleased because it was a little stuck. I'll rub it a little to help it breathe. Yeah, just rub it a little to help it. Here, you can have it back. We'll let her take care of her puppy.
Over this last week, anxious about the overdue puppies, Natasha has been closely monitoring the collie night and day.
You haven't slept all night. You've stayed beside her for a few days now. It's something that's really important to you.
For sure.
Now they're here. You're happy. We've been waiting for this for a long time. I hope everything goes okay. A birth is a delicate operation. A lot can go wrong for the puppies. Anything could happen.
For the mother too. I record the time of birth, whether it's a male or female, the colour, then I write down the codes that will allow us to recognize the puppy and say which was born first, which was born second, for future reference. The same goes for the placenta. I remove it to avoid choking. It's a small female. The fact that the first puppy was a difficult birth means the rest are waiting in line, and suddenly things start to go quickly.
A border collie can produce a litter of up to 10 puppies. Natasha does not yet know how many Ushuaia is going to have. Puppies are born deaf and blind. They get their bearings through smell. But after only a few minutes of life, their instinct guides them towards their mother's teats.
This one is really beautiful.
That will be the last. Although contractions began during the night, Ushuaia has given birth to her 4 pups in less than an hour. 2 males and 2 females.
It's beautiful to see. The next stage, raising the litter, is magical too.
The 4 newborns share a common future as sheepdogs. Their training will begin in just a few weeks' time. But one dog in particular will stand out from the litter.
That's Jetpur, our male Asian lion, marking his territory. Then afterwards you can hear the panthers answering. Or maybe it was Baikal, our male Siberian tiger.
Benoit is the veterinary officer at Mulhouse Zoo. He is responsible for the health of 1,200 animals spread over more than 25 hectares.
The atmosphere changes completely at night. We have wild species all over the park alone. We can hear storks and all kinds of species marking their territory. So it's a different atmosphere. It's really nice. It's a privilege to be the only person roaming the park at this time of night.
But Benoit is on guard duty at night to take care of a species much smaller than the Asian lion. It is 3 a.m., and a newborn is demanding some sustenance.
Super. Okay.
Olena, come on.
Olana is a baby blue-eyed black lemur, a very rare species of primate native to Madagascar. She is just 1 week old.
We're in the early stages, where she has to get used to the bottle for a few days. She hasn't got the hang of it yet.
Only 2,000 members of her species survive in the world today. So for the zoo, every newborn is a priority.
Olena, come here. It's the right temperature. Come on, you can do it.
For her survival, the lemur is placed in an incubator, identical to the ones used for premature human babies. Every 3 hours, day and night, the veterinary has to take her a ration of milk.
Great. Obviously, the schedule and working hours are a little unusual, but it's really satisfying to be able to give this tiny animal what it needs to survive. It's hard sometimes, at 3 or 6 o'clock in the morning, but you're always aware that it's worth it. Right, I think she's done.
Benoit has to go to so much trouble to act as a surrogate mother because Alana was not given the attention she needed from her own mother when she was born. A week ago, on March 9th at 10:52 p.m., Jeanne, Olana's mother, had just brought her into the world. A few hours later, when Benoit discovered the happy event, he also ascertained a major problem.
She finds it very hard to help it get into position. The problem with his mom, Joan, is that she can't manage to produce any milk to feed her baby, either because she's afraid or for other reasons. Then as a result, the baby can't survive more than 2 or 3 days just without having some sort of food supplement. I'd like to try to recover the baby. She might get aggressive towards us if we try to take her young. She doesn't know what we're up to. So it's a tense moment, and we need to be careful.
Alors, go. Voilà.
There you go, Jean. I'm here, I'm with you. I think she feels terrorized. Everything's fine. Look, Jean, your baby's here.
The baby hasn't had its colostrums, the very first dose of milk that bolsters a newborn's immune system, and is thus very weak.
It isn't very big. 69.16. Would you record that somewhere, Corinne?
It is a small female, weighing only 69 grams. She'll be named Olana. Benoit's bottles have been the cornerstone of the baby blue-eyed black lemur's existence for 10 days now. Since she was born, she has almost doubled her weight.
We kind of act as wet nurses, meaning we have to check that they're gaining weight. We provide the food they don't have. Here she took 3 milliliters, which is exactly how much she was meant to take today. So that's perfect. Her name is Olana, which is short for Farbulana, which means ring or ringed in Malgache. That's to do with the small white ring at the end of the tail, which is absolutely atypical for blue-eyed black lemurs and makes her even more unique. The lemur is a species really close to my heart, and I'm particularly fond of blue-eyed black lemurs. You can get really close to animals, but you need to avoid creating bonds and wear gloves whenever you handle them. We know that her mom, Joan, can't manage to take care of her. So it's a kind of failure for her. But it's great for us because we get to look after this adorable little animal, to feed a baby lemur, make it grow, and guide it to come to terms with being a lemur.
Benoit's challenge is to reintegrate Olana into the group of lemurs.
She's so cute. She's falling asleep on her cuddly toy.
Will Olana be accepted back among its own? Gazelle and Isis are showing signs of tiredness. Each in its own way is preparing for foaling. Back at Jean-François', the whole family is anxiously awaiting the new arrival.
Put your hands here. There you go, a little bit more this way.
His daughters, Swana and Shiny.
Did you feel it?
Yes, it moved. So sweet.
His wife Sylvie, a former horsewoman, and youngest child Cobain come to check on how the mares are doing.
It's starting to narrow a little.
Wow.
Come on, let's try with Shiny. It wasn't a kick, that was just one of its joints you could feel.
So tonight? Next week?
Next month? Next year?
No, not next year. I don't think it'll take that long.
The gestation period for horses is typically 11 months and 10 days, but it can vary by 2 weeks either way and also depends on the day of covering. So it is impossible to say with any certainty when the foals will arrive. Until now, Jean-François and his family have never had an opportunity to observe the phenomenon, so they will have to be patient.
Hasn't it dropped a little?
She's so big.
The external signs are that birth is imminent. Swollen udders, hollowed out hindquarters, a dropped belly, as well as body temperature, which can fall by as much as 1 degree the day before birth.
Well, it doesn't look like she's 24 hours from foaling. It beeps when the temperature is right.
37.2.
37.2.
And a lot of poop.
The teats are really swollen. Let's check her breathing rate. She's breathing practically every second. That's a lot. I can see a few small contractions. And that's normal, she's at full term.
Over the last few hours, the behavior of Isis has changed. She is anxious and keeps lying down and getting up again. She has become aggressive with Tiago, and the nasal rictus is a sign of impending birth in horses. She is ready. Isis's foal has just been born. The placenta has yet to emerge. Although the foal is only a few minutes old, the survival instinct kicks in and it tries to get to its feet. Isis cleans her foal and tries to stimulate it. The foal lets out its first neigh, and in the surrounding meadows, the other horses reply.
I'll let her get on with it. If I sensed she was weak, I'd help out, but while everything is okay, I'll keep my distance.
Barely 20 minutes after birth, the foal manages to stand up.
He's hefty. He's steady on his feet.
Although from atop his long limbs, he hardly stands proud.
I'm impressed.
It is Tiego's 7th foal, and it weighs around 50 kilos.
Un petit mâle.
A little male.
Petit bonhomme.
It's almost as if he can hear my voice and is attracted to it.
The foal discovers man for the first time. It is the beginning of their relationship.
They're always so cute. You stand up really well, kid. I think we have another white mark right here.
Born at night beside his 2 parents, both performing artists, the small male with the white foot has its future all mapped out.
He wants to suckle. Welcome.
He will have to learn his trade through Jean-François. But will he be able to fit into the troupe? And more importantly, be ready for the next big show in a few months' time at the foot of the Eiffel Tower? Since it opened almost 150 years ago, Mulhouse Zoo has dedicated itself to the preservation of endangered species. Over the years, the park has specialized in rearing animals under threat and fighting their extinction through large-scale reproduction programs. In the middle of the gardens, the zoo's hatchery produces some 200 young every year. This is where Olana spends her last moments before meeting her parents for the first time since birth.
Come on, Olana. Come and see your mom.
Hop. Super.
The real challenge, now we've raised and fed it, is to successfully return it to its parents, such that in its mind and its behavior, it is a perfectly normal blue-eyed black lemur. Then we really will have succeeded.
So these are Olana's parents. Her father, Edward, and Jean, her mother.
A characteristic of blue-eyed black lemurs is their very marked sexual dimorphism. The young, when born, are yellow, hence the name jaune for the mother. And the males quickly turn darker during adolescence and are completely black by the time they reach adult age. The only thing common to both adults is the blue eye color of their name. They really are peaceful animals, very quiet, not at all aggressive. You can develop close relations without trying to train or tame them. They are spontaneously trusting, despite the painful injections I've administered these past few hours. They're really cool. They have a bad memory, so they don't hold it against me for long.
Unfortunately, their tame and pleasant character makes them easy prey for poachers. Today, their numbers have been almost decimated. The production of young at the zoo may be the last hope for preserving the species. If Olana is to help in the survival of her species, she has to return to live among her own.
I'm feeding your daughter, Jean. Come see what's going on.
Benoit tries to get Jean's attention to restore communications between mother and daughter.
Because we've been bottle feeding her every 2 to 3 hours, she's had an uncommon amount of human contact. We need to make it clear in her little lemur head that she is in fact a lemur, not a human being. Olana lets out little screams as soon as she's stimulated. Jean is on the lookout.
Olana has to speak lemur so as not to break the bonds with her family.
So there's been some interaction with Jean. We try to use noises like these to forge bonds between Olana and her mom, so that she develops the habit of communicating, as it were, with animals of her own species.
One important hurdle has to be overcome: the re-establishing of contact.
We wait until she's strong enough. She weighs less than 100 grams, so if she suffers a bite, it might prove fatal. We have to keep our fingers crossed and hope she allows Olana to climb on her belly. From a veterinary point of view, every stage is critical. So I feel involved, and I know I'll have to intervene if there's the slightest hitch.
In less than 3 weeks, the baby lemur will be introduced to her parents. But will Jean accept the return of her daughter? Isis's foal is only a few hours old. It is going to try to suckle for the first time, to drink the colostrum that will bolster its immune system. In the early hours of the morning, Jean-François's family come to see it for the first time.
He has a white foot.
He has two, like socks. So cute.
Chaussette is a good name. It means sock.
Very impressive.
A real boy.
Dad, he's so fragile.
He's beautiful, nice and strong. He has a goatee.
Mum, where's the placenta?
Don't worry, Miss Veterinary Assistant.
The girls have decided the foal will be called Chaussette, after the white socks on his feet.
Look, there's still air in it. Look, there's a bubble. And look in the bubble, it's so weird, the noise. Mom, I made a heart with the placenta.
Hideous. They want to be vets, so...
Cobain is keeping his distance.
Coban is just watching.
He's thinking, my sisters are disgusting.
Chaussette can finally rest after his sleepless night. He'll soon have to improve his stride so he can begin his career as an artist. The 4 Border Collie pups are 1 day old.
They climb over one another because they cannot regulate their body temperature. So that's how they keep warm.
It's early days, but Natasha is already observing them closely, studying their character. In 2 months' time, 3 of them will head off to other shepherds or farmers. Just 1 will be selected to stay home and be trained by Etienne.
I've got my eye on this one, with a small white mark on its rear end and a wide collar. It's a female, very calm, that fights its way to the teat. When put down, it's a really calm dog. Everything looks good. She's reassured by my smell, and she'll settle down to sleep. I like this one too, because it has a funny colour. It has a symmetrical pattern on both sides. This one is a male. If I put it down, it wriggles about. It's a little more nervous. For us, the character is important. Work-wise, it isn't necessarily a problem. But as Etienne needs a calm dog, I'll choose one more like this. See, she's on her own, but she isn't moving. She's already comfortable with human contact. And there's a good chance that this will be the one we select. Sweet little thing.
The challenge for Natasha is to choose one that best suits Etienne's personality. Will the female with the mark on its rear end continue to stand out? 3 baby animals born in France. Each has an unusual destiny, one that is closely linked to that of their human owners. We follow them for a year, from birth to their first challenge in life. This is their story. The 3 babies have been born. They have spent their early days with their masters or trainers. Now begins the second stage of their lives, their education.
Pichou, 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 pichou. Viens, pichou. Et les pichou. Et les pichou alors. Ti, 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 ti. Oh, bah doucement. Et les kikis, et les kikis, et les kikis. Pichou. Et les pichou. Et les pichou alors. Oh là là, oh là là, oh là là.
Natasha has now been with the litter of 4 puppies full-time for 5 weeks. She's getting to know them well and starting to be able to tell them apart. Today is their first test in their training to become sheepdogs. At this stage, putting them up against fully grown sheep is out of the question. They need a quarry better suited to their size: ducks. Guided by Etienne's dogs, the web feet enter the arena.
We'll test them with ducks to see how they shape up, see whether they can round them up. They're only 5.5 weeks old, so they're rather young, but we can see how they fare.
All border collies will instinctively follow a herd of animals, but watching them in action reveals a lot about their character. After the test, Natasha will be able to choose the puppy best suited to Etienne. The other 3, equally skilled, will be given to other sheep herders.
If a dog makes for the ducks right away, well, it shows you that it has a lot of character. It needs to be with a family that rears cattle or large flocks of sheep, whereas we're looking for a calmer dog.
The first to be tested energetically pursues the mallards. But despite his desire to please, the young male exhausts himself.
The puppies get tired very quickly. You can see within a few seconds what they're capable of, but you can't ask too much of them. He's thinking, enough of this. So, who's next? Who wants to go? You? You? Go.
The second puppy seems promising, but soon loses focus and wanders off.
C'est bien, Pichou! C'est bien, Pichou!
The third is a very up and at them type. He herds his flock with a great deal of spirit and excitement.
Oh, that's good. Very good. Well done. The little guy has plenty of character. So, now for the last one. Your turn, Missy.
La demoiselle. La demoiselle.
Now it is the turn of the small, calm female, the puppy Natasha took a shine to as soon as it was born. She's a little more timid, following the ducks with her eyes and staying close to her mistress.
Oui, Pichou, Pichou. Oui, c'est bien. Oui, Pichou, Pichou.
The kind of qualities the sheep farming couple value
C'est
highly.
bien, ma petite Gigi. C'est bien. Au niveau caractère,
In terms of character, she has a lot of poise and doesn't overdo things, which makes her a good match for Etienne. So she'll be perfect for him. And she's the one I'm going to keep. She's a good match. Right, Missy? We'll call her Girouette.
Voilà.
Girouette, then, is the new recruit. She has just 1 year to become an excellent sheepdog and take part in the big sheepdog trials. But will she live up to her owner's expectations? It is 7 a.m. in Mulhouse Zoo, and it's time for breakfast. To be like her mom and dad, today Olana must abandon the bottle. This is her last ration of milk.
Should we try her on solids? These are cooked vegetables, easier to chew and digest. It makes it easier to get her onto solid foods. Then we won't have to bother with bottles. The sooner she becomes independent, the better for her. She seems so dependent on me, that's why I'm anxious for her to move on to solids, so she can feed herself and not have to depend on us. How many grams have you got there?
40.
Okay, let's give it a go.
Breakfast is served. On the menu is chicory and capsicum.
I thought she'd start with the capsicum, but apparently not. They don't instinctively use their hands like monkeys do. This is great. We're at the second critical stage of hand rearing with a move on to solids. If this goes well, which it seems to be doing, then the final stage will be to teach her to be among her own kind, which is what we'll try next.
First, she must be returned to her parents. But to avoid any risk of bites, Olana will remain in a training cage within her parents' enclosure.
Hop. Jaune, Edouard?
Now she's more familiar with her surroundings, I'm going to take away the security and comfort of her cuddly toy. She'll probably cry out because she feels less secure. Now we watch how her mother reacts to Olana's calls. We can see there's some interaction. She's calling out, looking for solace. Jaune is obviously intrigued. She answers back. But at no point does she have the reflex to go to Olana. She's keeping her distance. She senses the tension, but doesn't feel the need to comfort her daughter. We'll cut this short. She's obviously unhappy. So we'll return her cuddly toy to give her back a sense of security.
Et qu'elle soit plus en sécurité. Viens là, ma grande. Voilà. Donc malgré tous les appels d'Olana,
Olana's calls have had no real effect. Jaune reacted as though it was just another lemur in her enclosure. Her reaction was one of mistrust rather than that of a mother. So it wasn't very successful. Naturally, I'm disappointed. Ideally, Jaune would have taken her on her belly. Then we could have bottle-fed Olana while she was with her mother, which we sometimes do. So I'm a little disappointed, although it isn't entirely unexpected. Okay, stay there. We'll make a concerted attempt to gradually bring the lemurs together. Hope it gets better in the future.
Olana will have another chance to return to her own kind. Will she be able to do it? Chaussette is 10 days old. Along with his half-brother Cisco, Gazelle's foal born 2 days after him, he is going to attend his first training session. Jean-François wants them to be part of his next big show, which will take place in Paris. For the time being, though, the young foals are still completely wild.
The great thing about foals is their curiosity, and we'll try to exploit that to bring them closer to us. The purpose of this game is to touch the foal and establish contact with it. He doesn't really know where it's coming from, but it lets him know we're around and that there can be non-threatening contact. So it makes him curious. Now I back off a little to really arouse his curiosity.
Because horses' ancestors were preyed upon by numerous predators, a foal is instinctively very wary.
These are delicate young animals, and I try to pick up on the tiny details. It's my job to let the foal know that we're friendly. Physically, he sees us as ultra-dominant. He sees me as a Superman. He doesn't know I'm here to be nice. So he's scared. Once he realizes I'm harmless, it sparks his interest. Even when they're very young, horses test you to check out your strength. So a horse doesn't greet another horse for the first time as an act of politeness. What it's doing is trying to weigh up which of them is going to be the dominant horse. So that's what's going on right here. Now we can go back over closer to them, but stay away from the wire. We have to make it unpleasant every time he runs away, and pleasant when he's focusing on us.
Neither reward nor reprimand. As with adults, Jean-François uses his gentle method, playing only on comfort and discomfort.
As soon as I've won his concentration, I'll let him go, and then I'll come back later. After all, we've already met, right, little guy? Now he's more receptive. Now he's surrendering to his curiosity. We've made real progress. But this is where you have to be careful, because the foal may have understood that I'm not actually a threat, but he's still trying to figure out just how strong I am. So unlike last time, when I was backing off, this time I'm going to keep getting closer and not let him get the feeling that he can either bully me or control me. I'm going to make sure he knows that I'm the one in control. When they're small like this, it's easy. This is amazing. Now he's trying to lie on me. I didn't think I'd have so much fun with the foals. I always enjoy training. I enjoy performances, and I hope he has a good time with me under the Eiffel Tower. You get this moment when a fragile kind of complicity starts to become established.
Jean-François has less than 3 months to prepare Chaussette for his first performance on the Champ de Mars. The event will feature the very best horsemen and be watched by an audience of thousands. Will the foal be prepared to follow Jean-François all the way to the foot of the Eiffel Tower?
Racine 4.
Faucon.
Hawk,
Chouette.
Owl.
Alouette.
lark,
Aigle.
Eagle.
Cigogne.
stork,
Perdrix.
Partridge.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. We need at least 22 commands.
Pheasant.
Pheasant, yeah.
In order to command the dogs, Etienne's method is to attribute a different language for each dog. The theme chosen for Girouette is birds.
Corneille, corbeau.
Crow, raven. We'll use one of them. We try to choose consonances that differ from one another to make it easy for the dog to understand. We even avoid using names, which can be a distraction. For example, if someone says, Etienne, go make coffee, I just hear Etienne and wonder if maybe it's time to go to bed. I might get the wrong end of the stick. So we skip the name and just say, go make coffee, go to bed, go to work, or whatever, to save time. Circaète and cigogne sound too much alike.
Plus, it isn't easy to pronounce.
Ouais. Il y aurait, Lepodicépidida.
How about heron? Have we used that?
Bon, voilà, on a tout fait.
Then we've got enough.
Il y en a encore plein là.
There's still loads. In Latin.
En latin, en latin.
In Latin. I'm just weighing it up.
Je fais le point.
Now the name of each bird has to be associated with a particular command.
Some names we use because they rhyme with the command.
Yeah.
Hibou, debout, for get up.
Après, il y avait perdrix.
Perdrix,
Assis.
Assis, for sit.
C'est bien, on dit chouette ou on dit colombe?
A dove is peaceful, so
Colombe, c'est pacifique.
we need something for lie down,
Il
too.
nous faut quelque chose aussi.
On a faucon.
falcon.
C'est un peu...
Il plonge au sol, le faucon.
A falcon swoops down.
Pour que
And chasse for when the dog moves away.
Écarte.
Sit, get up, good, get back. In just an hour, Etienne and Natasha have found 22 commands for Girouette.
Faudrait pas qu'ils confondent quand même.
Échasse, bécasse.
Échasse, échasse, bécasse. Non?
Time to put them into practice. Girouette is now 6 months old.
We've been working on the command, get back. I won't say it because she's right here, but it's a way of getting her to back off from the animals. There's work to be done. She's a young dog, and she's a bit of a handful. I'm nowhere near 100% sure of her. Let's say around 5%.
The aim is to get Girouette to circle the ducks without touching them. The lead is used to provide greater control during training. But it's hard for Girouette to fight her predatory instincts. The ducks lose a few feathers but suffer no serious bites. Girouette can't control herself. She's just playing.
This is a mess. The dog isn't circling them. He's just going for them. She doesn't hear the commands. She's too much into her own thing. It's like I'm not here. Her instincts are more powerful than my commands.
Second attempt. Natasha is wielding a stick to keep Girouette away from the ducks. There's no contact, but this gesture should be enough to make the dog keep its distance. Girouette eventually becomes more attentive and responds to the command. She passes the duck test. The young dog can now move on to the next stage.
Left leg down.
The following day brings a new challenge. Now she has to deal with dwarf sheep. This new stage marks the end of Natasha's involvement. She now hands over to Etienne. For Girouette, it's a big step forward. For the very first time, she is going to come into contact with sheep. The two species weigh each other up.
Et bien là, je pense qu'elle se pose des questions.
I think she's wondering how to go about things with animals that are bigger than she's used to. She wants to get closer, but in fact she's a bit wary. Sheep are no more aggressive than ducks, but they are more determined. They'll tap their feet like this to tell her to back off, and it frightens some dogs. So we have to hope she's up for it, and that it all goes well, and that we don't have any problems. Where is she?
I've put her in the middle.
Okay.
Colombe. Girouette et chasse. Colombe. Colombe.
Girouette is warier than she was with the ducks and tries a less head-on approach.
Allez. Et chasse.
This time, she obediently responds to Natasha's commands and almost instinctively adopts the behavior of a sheepdog by maintaining her distance from the sheep.
Et chasse. Girouette. Allez.
Frankly, I'm impressed. It's amazing to see how she positions herself on the other side of the flock relative to Natasha to pen in the sheep, and circles them very well in both directions. She responds to the slightest signal from Natasha. She really has style. The sheep respect her.
Et chasse.
The command to move away from the sheep seems to have been taken on board. Now Girouette has to grasp the notion of stopping.
Perdri. Chut. Perdri. Perdri. Et chasse. Et chasse. Perdri. Perdri. Girouette perdri. Et chasse.
That's good. She really understands Natasha's messages.
Perdri. Et chasse. Girouette. Allez.
Another hurdle has been successfully negotiated by Girouette.
Perdri. 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 Colombe. Colombe. Colombe.
She's great. It's really magical.
C'est un régal, c'est magique.
Beautiful, magical, as you say.
Elle est agréable, elle est à l'écoute.
She listens to what you say and responds to signals. She really understands.
Elle a tout compris. C'est comment elle avance
When she
droite
makes
sur les
straight
fesses,
for them,
elle te
controlling
comprend
them,
les mots,
it's great to see.
génial, hein. Puis elle a un style.
Plus she has style.
Non, je suis contente.
I'm really pleased.
Tiens,
Here,
la reine.
hold the leash.
Ouais, une petite
No
dernière
more
caresse
stroking.
quand même, hein. Hein, Girouette?
Right, Girouette.
Ah ouais.
Etienne always says that a dog that licks your ear is a smart dog. So we'll see.
At this stage, Girouette understands 3 commands: good, get back, sit. She'll need to learn another 20 or so to be ready for the trial. She has another 10 months of training, and most importantly, another hurdle to overcome when she has to handle a real flock.
This might get more and more difficult for her. Prepare the anesthetic card.
It's ready. Should I fetch the sheet?
Yeah, go.
One of the animals at Mulhouse Zoo needs some veterinary care. Benoit is preparing a powerful anesthetic to put it to sleep. The product is lethal to humans and precautions must be taken.
I'm going ahead with the etorphine. Stand back.
At Mulhouse Zoo, as well as Olana, Benoit must look after the health of over 160 endangered species. Today, the animal he is preparing to inject is a 10-year-old zebra named Nikita.
Là, ma grande.
Jean-Marc, can you come here, please?
Viens voir, s'il te plaît.
If you can just pull her into a corner. I think maybe I overdid it a little there.
Je suis un peu fort là. Fais attention.
Be careful.
Jean-Marc. Là, mes mères. Oh là, Nikita. Oh là. Ouais, vas-y, vas-y.
Before proceeding with the treatment, the team must separate her from her daughter.
Okay, everybody out. Let her fall asleep in peace. Lights off.
The drug administered should kick in within a few minutes. It is 10,000 times stronger than morphine. But zebras do not react the same way as horses. Even in a zoo, they are still wild animals and therefore more resistant. Nikita fights the narcotic effects, but eventually falls asleep standing up.
Ok.
Don't stand there, Alex. It's really dangerous. She could kick you into the air.
The zebra weighs more than 400 kilos. Even asleep, it can maintain its reflexes. Before beginning their examination, the team immobilizes her legs. She cannot be kept and anesthetized for more than an hour. The team has to act fast. Her hoofs get far less wear and tear than in the wild and need to be filled down, otherwise the animal may hurt itself.
28 and 20 seconds. Okay, all is good.
As well as performing the delicate manicuring operation, Benoit carries out a complete checkup.
My job isn't only to look after Olana. We have all kinds of animals in the park. Zebras, birds, primates, polar bears. So as well as tiny Olanas, we have much larger animals. But hand-rearing Olana is a stressful business and much more challenging than rendering a zebra unconscious. We're used to doing these things, and it's almost routine. Much simpler than managing a newborn from A to Z.
The operation seems impressive, but the care lavished on Olana is a much greater challenge for the veterinary surgeon.
Okay for you, Brice?
An antidote will help Nikita regain consciousness. The zebra will make a full recovery from the operation. Time for Benoit to turn his attentions back to Olana for the most important stage in her development.
Hop. Allez, ma grande. Hop.
It has been 3 months since the failed family reunion.
You can see she has become much more independent. She still consoles herself with her cuddly toy, but she's climbing and exploring a lot more now. She's going to look everywhere.
But Olana still has not had any physical contact with her fellow creatures. Today, Benoit is going to try a new approach and introduce her to a male of her species called Olivier.
The whole social aspect has to be taken into account. Olivier is going to act as her surrogate father. Either they will hit it off right away and start grooming and cleaning each other, or maybe Olana will be too insistent and suffer a few bites and scratches of rejection. Hopefully, they'll kiss and make friends, then sleep together. I think she has her bearings. We can open up now.
Si c'est OK.
Olivier makes his entrance. Unlike Olana, he is used to living in a group. But he barely seems to notice the young lemur. Olana, meanwhile, tries to grab Olivier's attention. To no avail.
We were hoping for something a little more clear-cut. Olana climbed up high to observe Olivier, who is keeping his distance. He's just getting on with life, scratching around the mulch, trying to find a few stray seeds. We're preparing her future as an adult, as a breeder, as a future hope for European lemurs and the lemur population generally. So it's a key moment in her development.
Olana has settled into the hammock, patiently awaiting the attentions of Olivier. She looks for a sign that doesn't come.
The complete lack of action is a little frustrating. But rather that than an attack. I was hoping they would bond together from the outset.
20 minutes go by. Then, Olivia makes a move. The merest of touches, but for Olana, it is a huge step. She decides to follow him, introduces herself, rolls into a ball, presses herself against him, and Olivier is won over.
What we've just seen is terrific. Olana presented herself for grooming, seeking contact without being invasive and climbing all over him. They're pressed against each other. It's tempting to just let them spend the night together. That's fantastic. It couldn't have gone any better today. I'm so happy. If it stays like that, then the bulk of our work is done with Olana. And in a few years' time, when she's a fully grown adult, hopefully we can find a young male somewhere in Europe for her to breed with.
With an age difference of over 15 years, Olivier and Olana will not form a breeding couple. Olivier will act as Olana's mentor. The young lemur will have to look elsewhere to start a family in another zoo with a male of a similar age. Might there be, someplace in Europe, another blue-eyed black lemur looking for a companion? Dress rehearsal.
Okay, we'll rehearse the finale, but for the time being, let's focus on the foals. So that's Cisco, Chaussette, and Petit Cœur. Franck will send Petit Cœur. Do the handover when the time comes.
The first part of Jean-François's show features only the adult horses without the foals. The challenge today is to separate them from their mothers during the acrobatic figures. But Chaussette is only 2 months old, and his mother, a strong-willed character, isn't listening. The whole family is helping out. It's the job of grandson Quentin and Franck, Jean-François' assistant during tours, to stand firm and prevent any approach. Now it's a matter of finding the male, Thiego, Chaussette's father, who has not yet returned to work since the birth of his 2 foals. A quick lap, a few warm-up exercises, and he's ready for his big comeback.
Allez, comme ça, je le remets au tripot. Ça, on peut laisser ouvert.
But 3 mares in the troop are on heat. The arrival of only the stallion is going to cause an upset. Thiego's hormones are bothering him, making it impossible for him to follow the choreography. If the session is to be rescued, Jean-François must dampen his ardor and refocus him fast. But the troubles are only just beginning. During a lull in proceedings, Isis seizes the opportunity to wander off and join Chaussette.
You need to be firmer than that, Frank. She's facing the wrong way, look.
Meanwhile, Thiego's hormones are getting the better of him once again. First chance she gets, Isis is away again.
Go, go, go! Again, Frank. Don't let anything go. Calm but firm. But when you need to be firm, do it properly. If you're half-hearted about it, the horse will just laugh at you.
Voilà.
There. That's perfect.
C'est parfait. Regarde.
Then at the slightest sign, the horse goes and it's much easier for everyone.
C'est agréable pour tout le monde.
Now the group is back together. Training can resume. But Chaussette keeps calling his mother. While the others dance in a circle, Isis makes off once again.
Hold on, you can't let her get too comfortable here. Stay logical. If the foal is calling her, she's not going to waste time standing there listening to me.
The male is playing up again. Chaussette's parents are being unruly.
We'll get there sooner or later. That's what you have to keep telling yourself. You have to remain positive, firm, and calm. The harder it is, the firmer you need to be. Without overdoing it, of course.
The two disruptive elements finally fall into line. Jean-François can now press on and rehearse his finale. Balancing on their hindquarters, Jean-François has no halter to control the horses. The impressive figure ends with the arrival of a Shetland pony by the name of Petit Cœur. And now it's the foal's turn.
All right, let's put an end to this ordeal. Let go of the halter. Quentin, at the same time, at the same time.
Jean-François tries to get the foal's attention, but they seem bent on returning to their mothers. Come the day of the show, though, he will need to maintain control from the start and throughout the performance. After 4.5 hours of intense training, the session comes to an end.
That session was a real struggle. I had to battle against maternal instinct, plus we have 3 mares in heat. So I'm battling maternal instinct and the instinct to breed. Actually, couldn't be worse, unless maybe I threw a tiger into the mix. We'll see. We have a training session tomorrow and the day after, another in the show ring, and then we'll see what happens. You know, things can change.
The big show is looming, and the outlook is mixed. On the day, Will Chaussette agree to be parted from his mother to perform with Jean-François?
Et chasse. Et chasse.
All through the winter, Girouette has been making progress with the dwarf sheep.
Perdri, perdri, faucon.
Now 9 months old, she is practicing with a real flock.
Et chasse.
She has learned to respond to 5 commands.
Chouette, chouette, colombe, colombe, colombe.
But she needs to broaden her lexicon before she can take part in the big sheepdog trials. With only 6 months to go before the big day, the countdown has begun for Etienne and Girouette. Meanwhile, back at Mulhouse, Benoit awaits a phone call from another zoo as he tries to fix Olana up with her future mate. For the baby lemur, a whole new life may be about to begin. Preparations for Chaussette and the troop of horses are gathering pace in the run-up to the show. The equestrian show will take place in the Champ de Mars, several hours' drive from where Jean-François lives. Some 730 kilometers lie between his horses and the venue, where Chaussette will make his stage debut. Three baby animals born in France. Each has an unusual destiny, one that is closely linked to that of their human owners. We will follow them for a year, from birth to their first challenge in life. This is their story. After a difficult start with ducks, with the help of Etienne and Natasha, Girouette has expanded her vocabulary for herding sheep.
Perdri, chouette, chouette, colombe.
The big sheepdog trial is looming. Thanks to the attentions of Benoit, Olana has finally managed to bond with a member of her own species, named Olivier. But the young female is still waiting for a male lemur to start her own family with. Chaussette is now part of Jean-François' performing troupe of horses, although the young foal still finds it difficult to follow instructions. He is part of the convoy heading up to Paris, where he is scheduled to give his first performance.
Cool. Calm down. That's it. Come on. Good.
Etienne owns 112 hectares of land.
C'est bien. Cool, assis. 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 On est dans le parc où les brebis
This is
mangent la
the
nuit,
pasture
comme il y a
where
eu de
the
la
sheep
lune,
eat all night
elles ont pu
long,
manger toute la nuit,
which they
et
could do
maintenant
as there
qu'il
was
est
plenty of
9 heures et
moonlight.
quelques, elles sont parties chômer,
Now
quelque
it's
part
9
à
a.m. and
l'abri,
they've gone off to graze
sous des
someplace in
buis.
the shade beneath the
Et le
box
chien va
trees.
devoir aller les chercher pour qu'on puisse
The dog has to go
travailler,
find
et
them
entraîner les chiens
so that we
avec
can
ces
do
fameuses
some
brebis.
training.
Je vais envoyer le chien sur la droite et puis il va partir
I'll
en
send the
recherche
dog
pour,
off in the hope he can
espérer
find
trouver.
them.
Cool.
Cool.
Droite.
Right. Right.
Droite écart.
Get back.
Voilà, c'est bien, il prend large.
He's taking a wide berth, but he'll sniff them out eventually. He's focused on his search. I don't think he knows where they are yet. There are no sheep wandering out of the shrubs. He's carrying on to the bottom of the plain. Ah, he's found them. What I like about this Beauceron is that he reins himself in. He stays 30 meters behind the sheep, bringing them back at their own pace. He isn't hurrying them. They have time to pick their way between the rocks and copses. They must have eaten well all night, with the moonlight and the cool air. Cool, that's good. Great.
Only 2 months before the big competition.
Girouette, great. Cool. Girouette.
Girouette is 13 months old. She has spent a few minutes every day in recent weeks training with larger and larger flocks of sheep.
Girouette has really made progress. It's great to see. She really listens. I think she's precocious and easy to work. She can be both calm and hyper. She's a real pleasure. For a dog of her age, she really has learned an impressive number of commands. I'm impressed. She's young. I usually compete with dogs once they're around 2 or 2.5 years old. But since she's so precocious, we're going to try her at only 15 months and see how she performs against the other dogs. It's a way of testing her resolve. I'll try to help her out so she feels comfortable and minimize the stress that comes with a new environment, new sheep, new sounds. I'll sound different too. I'll feel intimidated in front of an audience, which may change my intonation. Things like that bring their own pressures.
On the day, Girouette will be up against more experienced dogs, as Etienne competes with some of the best handlers and sheepdogs around. Can the duo carry off first place? Once a year, Europe's most talented horsemen convene in Paris.
First to last, trace a line!
To take part in the capital's major equestrian event, the Eiffel jumping.
Shoulders, Laurent, shoulders!
The horses of the Republican Guard also take part in this elite sporting competition.
Leave the corridor open! Keep it tight!
Jean-François is on the outskirts of the capital.
We take the Paris turnoff, of course.
Along with Quentin, his helper, and Frank, his son, Jean-François is bringing 14 horses.
It's the first time we've brought so many horses. We have our two little accomplices, Chaussette and Cisco. Hopefully there won't be too much complicity in the ring, or I'll be wasting my time.
In his 19-meter truck, the drive across Paris is turning into something of an expedition.
Left here? Can I get through there? You can tell the scooters are used to the traffic. Wow, that's amazing. Check out the bike. No hands.
After several hours on the road, the convoy finally reaches the Republican Guard cavalry.
We made it! After driving around Paris for 30 hours. No, leave him like that, and use a halter. Wait there, boy. Hold on.
Chaussette walks on paving stones for the first time. With no straps or tether, Jean-François' 14 horses cross the cavalry gardens to the stables. For the occasion, the first company has made its stalls available to the horses taking part in the event.
A quick hose down does the trick. Will the big ones be okay in the stall? Now we just need to put down some straw and wood shavings and we're good to go.
All the horses are in position. In a few hours' time, Chaussette will be entering the ring. Olana is 6 months old. She has just spent 40 days with Olivier. Olivier is Olana's mentor. He is helping her develop her social skills to become the perfect young female lemur. They make a good couple, but a new face is about to upset their daily routine. Benoit has just taken a call from a zoo in Germany about Olana. They have a young reproducing male they would like her to come and meet. So as not to unsettle the young female lemur, Olivier is going to make the trip with her. But before animals can be moved, Benoit must first carry out a full health check.
Don't worry, honey. Everything's fine.
Tout va bien. Doucement, Olana.
Easy does it, Olana.
For the examination, Olana will be partly put to sleep using gas.
The idea is to minimize the stress on the animal. For animals like her, we administer a mild anesthetic to make sure she's relaxed. Then we can do the tests quickly. She's asleep. There we go. "46. Make a note of that. We can start. Will you take her temperature?
Benoit's bacteriological examination will allow him to complete Olana's medical file.
Okay. Now for a blood sample. Would you hold her leg? She might have a few parasites or bacteria in her stool. The blood tests might show that she's a little run down. Maybe her white blood cells are high. There could be a lot of things wrong, but if there's anything, these tests will show us. Time to wake her up. Could you take her temperature, Jessica? I'll give her oxygen to wake her up slowly.
Okay.
We take it off when she starts to cough. There we go. There we go. Write it down.
Olana slowly regains consciousness. In a few minutes, she will have completely recovered from the anesthetic.
Take her. I'll let you put her back.
As Olivier is making the journey too, he is subjected to the same blood tests and a complete checkup.
He's slightly older, so it's only natural that there are a few things that will be different. But his heart rate, his temperature, and his breathing are normal. So everything's good. There we go. All done.
C'était rapide. Allez, couche-toi. Pardon. Couche-toi. OK.
Now we wait for the results. Then Olana can go on her first big journey. It will be an emotional moment for the team, because we've all been very involved with her. She's been hand-reared, and she'll be the first blue-eyed black lemur to leave the zoo. She's going to be the first to leave.
Within 2 weeks, Benoit will receive the results of the lab tests. If Olana is deemed able to make the trip, it will be the start of a new adventure for her. The big day is here. Every year, the best sheepdogs in France gather to compete against one another. The event is open to any breed of dog.
5. Pascal with Denver.
Denver, ouais.
Laurent with Jim. Amélie with Aisha. Nordine with Flex. Number 4. Here's the paperwork.
But some are only here as spectators.
And Fruska with Nicole. What number is it? Number 6.
And of course, Etienne is here with Girouette, who will be competing for the first time. For the occasion, a farmer has made available his livestock and his land. The judge, Pierre Legat, an expert in sheepdog trials with 20 years' experience, has designed a course with a time limit through which handlers and dogs have to maneuver a flock of 30 sheep. The best performance will win the competition.
It's very difficult. The sheep are unfamiliar with the dogs are unfamiliar with the sheep. Nobody is familiar with the environment. It's stressful for the handlers. They don't know how their dog will react. It's a leap into the unknown. And the course is never the same. It changes according to the land and the farm. So you go between the trees, and then you head for that corridor over there.
Contestants, shepherds, farmers, and dog handlers are introduced to the course just a few minutes before the start, as the judge issues his instructions.
I'll be judging both you and the dog, and of course, how you maneuver the sheep, if you do so. I'll dock points for any untimely stops, straying, or U-turns, half a point every time. Then I ask handlers not to shout. If you need to shout, it means the dog is deaf, and you should go see a vet. And avoid running except in emergencies. Make haste, but slowly. So here and here, as simply as possible, letting the sheep set the pace and minding the farm obstacles so you don't hurt yourselves.
The contestants for the trophy each go in turn. Lots have been drawn for the running order, and Etienne and Girouette will go last.
Colombe. The parcours est grand.
It's a big course with 30 sheep. You have to manage it as you go along. The pressure is on. There's all the excitement. And she's only young, but we have to cope. I mustn't let her down. She needs to succeed. She deserves to, because she has extraordinary abilities, so we both have to perform.
But first, her rivals.
Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Lie down. Denver, lie down.
Denver is a serious contender. The rivals test their skills in a series of challenges. First, the 30 sheep must be brought under control and ushered into an enclosure. Then out again, and rounded up, before being guided through the wooden barriers.
They all came out. That's not what I wanted. How many have you got?
An animal must then be caught and held in a sitting position.
That's good.
Before driving the sheep down a long corridor and bringing them to a halt.
Pity there was an overspill. But the dog worked well. I'll give it a 4.
They must then be made to circle a bale of straw, before finally bringing them to rest in the sheepfold.
Denver, lie down.
The ewes were a little more lively than in previous years, but the hardest part was controlling the dog. Otherwise, I'm proud of him. Very good. He needs to be more responsive, but he's making progress. That's the main thing.
A new group of 30 sheep is selected for each new round. As the dog handlers take their turns, one after the other. 17 are competing in Girouette's category. Some sail smoothly through the course.
This morning, all the handlers went over the course with the judge.
The dog's too tight on him.
While other handlers need to raise their voices.
It's messy.
Non! 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 Stop! Sors-toi! Non!
Try to,
Non! Non! Isha! Isha! Viens là! Viens là!
It wasn't great, although I'm glad I managed to calm her down by the end of the course. It maybe didn't look too good, but there were a few positives.
And for others, the challenge proves to be rather more delicate.
Stop! 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 Fresca, stop! Viens ici!
Faced with a recalcitrant dog, they lose their self-control.
Recule droite! Recule! Recule! Fresca, recule! Recule! Stop! Fresca, stop! Gauche! Gauche! Gauche écart! Stop! Droite! Recule!
Fresca, heel. Unfortunately, it's a breed of dog that frightens the sheep. Heel. Their fur flies around and they see the dog as a block, not in 3D like we do. Fresca, heel. As you see, when she runs, her fur flies in the air. With a bria, when its ear moves, the sheep scatter.
It's very difficult, even if the dog works well at home. As I said, the change of environment makes it far more stressful. Sheep and dogs are unfamiliar with each other, making the competition a real challenge. Next!
One more contestant to go before Etienne. The pressure is mounting.
Girouette, chouette. Colombe. Colombe, 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 colombe.
Etienne is a real top handler, one of the 3 best dog handlers in France. I don't like to classify them, but he is one of the very best. It's always an event when Etienne presents a dog. Everyone is eager to see what he's got for us.
A few minutes before his round, Etienne watches the end of the penultimate contestant.
Stop!
Okay.
The handler excelled in the early part of the course for the more delicate tests. But then her dog bolts.
Call him back.
Ta place! Ta place!
You lost control of the dog, which is a little exasperating. It could cause an accident. Otherwise, you handled the course very well. The sheep adopted you. They really followed you, so that was great. Keep up the good work. You're doing a great job. You'll get there in the end.
Merci.
Oops. The weather's fine. It's looking good. It's great. All's well.
It's Girouette's turn. We'll have to wait and see, but I think she'll be good.
Girouette.
Colombe. Bonjour, monsieur.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you.
Ben. Faucon.
Etienne now has 20 minutes to complete the course. He's going to attempt a clear, error-free round with the Girouette to secure first place.
Faucon. Goéland. Faucon. Duc. Caille. Duc. Faucon. Duc.
Right from the start, their performance draws admiration.
He knows exactly where to position the dog. By the time I figure out what the sheep are going to do, it's too late.
He doesn't need to think about it. It's instinctive.
Goéland. Échasse. Goéland. Faucon.
Regarde là, il est tranquille.
Look, he's so relaxed. He turns round to check where the dog is, then reins her in so she doesn't go too fast.
Tranquille.
Duc.
And the sheep follow. It's really smooth.
Or he moves the dog away and they start up again.
C'est génial.
It's brilliant.
Échasse.
Despite their difficulties, all the tests are completed with gusto.
Faucon.
C'est bon.
Goéland. Échasse. Goéland. Colombe.
C'est vraiment un très, très, très,
He
très,
really is a fabulous dog handler.
conducteur. C'est
It's extraordinary.
Goéland. Et chasse, goéland. Caille. Duc. Duc et chasse. Girouette, alouette, girouette. Girouette, alouette. Alouette. Et chasse. Et chasse. Faucon.
Mission accomplished.
Colombe. 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 Colombe.
Ah bah alors tout est
We messed up.
déçu.
I'm so
Je
disappointed.
suis vraiment content.
No, I'm
Parce que,
happy.
la chienne était dans le
Because the
coup,
dog was on the
aux bonnes
case,
distances vis-à-vis des brebis.
maintaining the right
Elle mettait de la
distance,
pression, elle les a
keeping the pressure
dominées,
on,
mais en
gently
douceur,
dominating them.
paisible, on va dire. Il y avait pas mal de choses qui
Despite
la
the
sollicitaient sur le
distractions,
terrain,
she
mais elle
only
se
lost
déconcentrait
concentration
une
for a
seconde, alors se
second,
remettait
then
tout de
got
suite au
back to
boulot.
work.
Ça faisait vraiment plaisir.
It was good to
malgré son
see,
jeune âge, son
seeing as she's only 14 months old.
14 mois et demi, elle était dans le coup. Elle confirme
She confirmed her
ses
excellent
aptitudes
abilities,
excellentes
instincts,
d'instinct,
concentration,
de concentration, de
receptiveness.
discipline pour l'écoute. C'est un vrai plaisir.
She was a joy.
Alors après, je suis
But I'm not the judge.
c'est au juge
It's up to him to decide.
J'ai ma propre
I hold the dog in high esteem, but it's up to the judge, not me. It's not my choice.
C'est bien ma belle. C'est bien ma girouette chouette. C'est bien ma belle. C'est bien ma belle.
en douceur, elle s'est mise devant.
Oh no, it's for me. Congratulations.
Thank you. And congratulations to you too, for the puppy.
Tu te fais rouler. Hein? Je suis super
I'm so pleased.
parce que pour
Because
nous,
for us
c'était
it
un
was
joli
quite a
bébé.
challenge.
Je l'ai bien
I
choisi.
made the right choice.
Voilà.
The pair have been in training for over 15 months.
Tu veux que je la prenne?
Should I take her? You're trying to make me cry too.
Vas-y.
Everyone anxiously awaits the final results.
Les lémuriens.
Lemur for Benoit?
Yes?
Ouais, donc on
We're
arrive
here
avec,
with Bernd for
Bernd
Olana.
pour Olana. Pardon, just wait a second.
Roger that.
Well, no, this way will be easier with the big.
Okay, great. We'll be there right away.
Ok, super, à là tout de suite.
The blood test results are in. Olana and Olivier are in perfect health.
No, she's just there.
That one was too large.
No, she's way smaller. So that's Olivier. So.
Departure day is here.
Ouais.
Bernd will be Olana's new carer.
16 years old.
He has come from Cologne in Germany to fetch her.
And the little one.
So very nice.
Yeah, he's lovely. Very calm, very nice.
Okay.
A pest.
Okay.
No, she's sweet.
Yeah. For the moment. But he doesn't react at all when she sort of, because for the food, she loves the food. So she'll tell him off, but he doesn't react. Okay. So for the moment, he's lovely. Do you want to see her reaction when we give the food?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Voilà, c'est le moment où ça peut
This
être un
may
petit
be a
peu
little
de
tense,
tension parce que,
because once Olana is around food,
avec la bouffe très-
she's just, you know.
Elle peut
There
être-
you go.
Voilà.
That's the proof.
La preuve, là.
Typical. Tu nouveau, hein? Allez, ma fifi, viens.
To avoid any unnecessary stress on the two lemurs, Olana and Olivier will travel together in the same transport case. Caroline, who has been a carer for almost a year, is taking care of things.
That's good, my babies.
Ah bah tiens. Cool.
Cool. Did it take a while? Did the noise scare them? I thought it might cause problems. Have you said your farewells? It'll be fine. It was a good idea to put them together. Cool. Well, thanks, Caroline. I'm sure Bernd will send me an email this evening. I'll tell you tomorrow morning. I won't forget the photos. See you later. Take care.
Next to me, and then I have to fix them.
I'll leave the fence to yours.
The two precious passengers will travel up front for extra security.
It's the end of an adventure for us. She's the first one to leave us, and we're all very fond of her, so it's a special moment.
And here is the one for both Olivier and Olana. So,
we're turning a page. Another story is about to begin, so it's very emotional for us. But we're very happy that it's worked out well, and we can hand her over to another zoo for the next stage of her life. And if she can become a blue-eyed black lemur mother, that would be wonderful. Right from the outset, we were getting up in the middle of the night to feed a lemur weighing 70 grams, so that she could go on to produce another lemur weighing 70 grams.
Maybe one day, Olana's babies will be returned to the wild to join the last remaining blue-eyed black lemurs in Madagascar and help save the species. But that's another story.
In ninth position with 41 points is Sophie's dog Doodle. And I have to say it's a pleasure to see such a rare breed. Congratulations. And in eighth position is Catherine's dog Danu.
The 17 contestants are here to collect their prize.
With 48 points out of 75,
Etienne is among the top three.
so now we move on to the podium. In third place with 60.5 points, it's Natalie. Second place with 61 points. I really enjoyed his round. It's Pascal. And in first place with 62.5 points, it's Etienne with Girouette.
Well done, Girouette. You won.
Just an hour to go before the show.
To be honest, this evening, if he comes straight at me and does a few steps, I'll be happy. Because being in the ring with all the noise is going to be really intimidating for him.
Hello and welcome to the Prix du Qatar. Here's Jérôme Muren.
The international jumping competition has been underway since early afternoon.
78.34. Clear round.
120,000 spectators have come to see the world's finest horsemen pitch their talents against one another.
Here's number 15 for Switzerland.
Jean-François's show will close the competition.
He was on time with 78.43, but must have felt under pressure. At the start with Adam Boy.
While the final contestants complete their rounds, behind the scenes, Jean-François has a few minutes to warm up before going on.
Now that I have the experience, I try to spend 30 minutes getting them up to speed. Remember, this is a first for Isis and Chaussette. If the horses are up for it, so am I. But I have to stay much more tuned in to what they can give me. You're on. Put the tethers on.
Sylvie and the children are in the audience.
Jean-François Pignon embodies all the emotion in the art of communicating with horses and making them work in complete freedom. Take a look.
Jean-François starts with Thiago. Then Isis, and follows with his spectacular figures.
And here's Petit Coeur. And now, here are the foals. Still no tethers, just signals. Voice, trust, and freedom.
Chaussette and Cisco make their entrance, and this time, Jean-François is able to grab their attention. The handler now has to maintain it for as long as possible. And for now, they are being cooperative. Chaussette happily joins in the game.
Oh no, look!
Magical.
When it's time to take a bow and exit the stage, it's hard not to milk the applause. Chaussette and his mother, too busy suckling, are last to leave the arena.
Born just a few weeks ago with their mares. I hope that you too felt the excitement of a true horse lover.
But for Jean-François, the evening has been a success. Chaussette and the other horses have won over the audience.
Freedom! Freedom! And Jean-François Pignon! A standing ovation. Thank you, Jean-François. Thank you.